Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the No DQ live recap of the 2021 Royal Rumble pay-per-view, the start of the road to WrestleMania. What a show this was. We have a lot to discuss here. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's on YouTube or Twitter/Periscope or Twitch. I appreciate your viewership and support. Let's go ahead and get started. And real quickly for the chat room, anybody who sends super chats, it's very much appreciated, but I do have one request to hashtag stick to the topic. I'm going to go match by match. So if you want to send a super chat regarding the main event, the men's Royal Rumble match, send it during that match. Anyways, let's get started. We had our kickoff, which included the WWE Women's Tag Team title match between Asuka and Charlotte Flair, defending their championships against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Josh Mansfield sent in the first super chat of the evening with $2. He says, "Hey, Aaron, did you win?" Yes, I did win. I had a clean sweep. Well, I'm not sure if anybody else tied me or not in the No DQ Predictions League, but yeah, I did get them all right, which almost never happens for me when it comes to predicting these shows. So we had the women's tag team titles on the line. Pretty standard match here, back and forth between them. Nia and Shayna worked over Asuka's arm for the early moments. Charlotte got knocked off the apron. Eventually, Charlotte got the hot tag, hit a double natural selection to both Nia and Shayna. And then the match went to the outside of the ring. Charlotte did a moonsault off the top onto both of them to the outside. And then we had our shenanigans. Yes, Ric Flair's music hit. Ric Flair came out to the stage. Shayna rolled up Charlotte, who was distracted. However, Charlotte kicked out. And then Charlotte managed to regain the upper hand. She put on the figure eight to Shayna, but Lacey Evans from the announcer area stopped the figure eight attempt when the referee was distracted, of course. And then Charlotte punched out Lacey. However, as all this was going on, the referee remained distracted by the chaos, and Ric Flair handed a foreign object to Lacey, dirtiest player in the game after all. Lacey hit the women's right using that object onto Charlotte, and then Nia Jax tagged in, hit the big leg drop, and pinned Charlotte Flair, giving us, once again, the women's tag team champions, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. I was not surprised by this outcome at all. I fully expected this title run of Asuka and Charlotte to be short-lived as we got close to WrestleMania. Get the titles back on Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. No big surprise here. Pretty much exactly what you would expect from this match. We had our main pay-per-view card, which opened up in a big way. We had the WWE Championship match. We had Drew McIntyre defending the championship against Bill Goldberg. And DJW sent in a $5 super chat, says, regarding the kickoff match, "I don't think I've ever seen a referee being distracted for so long." Yeah, there was a lot going on in the closing moments of that match. And yeah, the referee could not keep an eye on what was going on. And Ric Flair managed to slip through the cracks with those brass knucks or whatever the object was. And yeah, Ric Flair, dirtiest player in the game, prevails again through Lacey Evans. So we had Bill Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre. For some reason, even though we have no actual fans in the building, Bill Goldberg needs security. Why? I have no idea. We had Drew McIntyre make his entrance after Goldberg did his big grand entrance. I feel like the entrances were longer than the actual match, which going in, I think we all pretty much expected. Match was fine for what it was. I mean, it was pretty much what you would expect. Before the bell rang, McIntyre went right after Goldberg with a Glasgow kiss, hit a spear on Goldberg. They ended up on the outside of the ring. Goldberg recovered, speared McIntyre through the barricade. McIntyre was selling his ribs. He got back into the ring. The referee wanted to know if McIntyre was able to go through with the match. McIntyre said, "Ring the damn bell." So the match started. And McIntyre quickly blocked a spear and hit a claymore for a near fall. Goldberg recovered from that, hit 2 more spears, because that's apparently the only move he can do. But again, we all kind of knew this going in, that this is what we were going to see out of a Goldberg match. And yes, I agree with Edward Young. Goldberg, yeah, he's an older guy, but he's in pretty damn good shape. He came to this pay-per-view looking in about as good of shape as a guy his age could possibly be. And OG Crushes with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, signs you should retire but can't hit your finisher. Yeah, so this led to the next moment where Goldberg decided to go for the jackhammer. And he picked up McIntyre, and granted, it was better than that infamous Undertaker one from Saudi Arabia, but still not a very good-looking jackhammer. McIntyre kicked out of it. Goldberg went for a spear again, but he missed, went into the corner. McIntyre hit a claymore, 1, 2, 3, and picked up the victory to retain the championship. Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, can Goldberg do other moves besides the spear? Well, he did do the jackhammer, not a very good-looking jackhammer. So Goldberg did 2 moves in this match. I'm not sure why he can't do like submission moves or a body slam. Like, can he not do a body slam? Actual match time was 2 minutes and 31 seconds. I kid you not. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Goldberg's entrance alone was longer than this actual match. And afterwards, Goldberg gave McIntyre some props, shook his hand, raised McIntyre's hand, and the 2 of them hugged. And we were all scared. We were all wondering, would Goldberg show up in the men's Royal Rumble match? And I'll just say now, most of you know what happened. He did not show up. Everyone was able to breathe a sigh of relief. No appearance from Goldberg in the Royal Rumble match. But yeah, like I said, match was decent enough for what it was. Moving on here to the Women's SmackDown Championship match. Sasha Banks versus Carmella, a rematch from the TLC pay-per-view. And also regarding Goldberg, like what's next for him? That's a great question. He lost clean to Drew. No controversy. I guess he could face somebody a little bit lower on the card, maybe a King Corbin or something like that. But yeah, I'm a little surprised. I figured maybe The Miz would interfere, but hey, clean finish. And you know what? It's the right move for business to put over Drew McIntyre. And DJW says, $1 million payday for 2 minutes, eh? Yeah. I wonder how much Goldberg got for that match alone. Probably a very good payday. But, he had to get into Goldberg's shape. You got to give him some credit for that at least. All right, so let's talk about this match between Carmella and Sasha Banks. Sasha went right after Carmella, tried to get the bank statement on. Carmella escaped, went to the outside. Reginald was interfering right off the bat, got on the apron. Sasha knocked him off. Carmella took advantage. Carmella was using Sasha's hair, tying it into the rope for leverage. Of course, she had to break it at 5 or be DQ'd. Sasha ended up being tossed out of the ring, caught by Reginald. Sasha beat the crap out of Reginald, and the referee was like, enough of this. Reginald was kicked out, and the match resumed one-on-one. Sasha went for a big frog splash. Carmella got her knees up. Carmella put on the code of silence, but Sasha broke out of it. And then Sasha got the bank statement on, and Carmella submitted. Another very good match between these two. I probably would go with the TLC match above this one, but this was still a very solid match. I did enjoy it. Well done from the ladies. And speaking of well done from the ladies, let's talk about the women's Royal Rumble match. Now, this match was, I think, about 58 minutes long, so this is going to be a long recap here. I got through those first couple of matches relatively quickly, but there's a lot to discuss and a lot to digest from this match. Before the match, we had Bad Bunny performing his song Booker T with Booker T. And Booker T was standing there in his G.I. Bro outfit from WCW, said his catchphrase at the end. I did not care about this. I really had no interest in it. Adrian sent in a €5 super chat. Thank you, Adrian. He says, I popped for Victoria's return just like I did for her video. Well, yeah, we'll talk about Victoria. We did get a couple of surprise entrances in this Royal Rumble match. So let's go ahead and get to the recap. Bayley was the first entrant. Second entrant was the returning Naomi. Naomi finally back. I think her first appearance since the draft. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. She's been gone for quite a while, really since the Roman Reigns head of the table storyline got started. I'm hoping we'll get a heel turn from her and she'll be part of the bloodline with Roman and the Usos. I think that would be good for her and start building her back up towards a main event spot. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says Matt Riddle versus G.I. Bro in a bro on a pole match. Yeah, I would not give WWE ideas, though. If you have somebody in WWE watching this video, they might just think that's a good idea. So be careful what you suggest with your super chats. And Leatherface says G.I. Bro, or not G.I. Bro, Bad Bunny is a megastar. He will get viewers. By the way, I will say R-Truth was pretty funny during the kickoff. There was a little segment during the kickoff where R-Truth was dressed like Elmer Fudd looking for Bugs Bunny. But of course, the announcers had to say, well, it's Bad Bunny, not Bugs Bunny. I was amused by that. The This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, same here, Adrian, about Victoria. A lot of people talking about Victoria. So let's go ahead and get into this recap of the Women's Royal Rumble. Naomi was number 2, and Bianca Belair came out as the number 3 entrant. Billie Kay was number 4, and Billie Kay was up to some shenanigans. She had her 8x10 photos. She went to the commentary desk. She wasn't getting in the ring. Basically, she was trying to recruit various entrants in the Rumble match to team up with her in the Rumble. Shotzi Blackheart was an entrant from NXT. She ended up coming down with her tank and shot her ball at Billie Kay, basically saying, no, thank you. And we had Jillian Hall. There's a name from the past. Jillian Hall, the former diva that had that face disfigurement and then the boogeyman bit it off. Remember that? That Jillian Hall. And she agreed to team up with Billie, so they got into the ring and worked together. But then when Peyton Royce came out, the Iconics reunited and Billie forgot about poor Jillian Hall. We had Victoria, as mentioned by people in the chat room. Victoria made her return. her first appearance in a very long time. Maybe somebody in the chat room can give me the stat on when Victoria's last WWE appearance was. It's been a while. And I remember there was a rumor about her showing up last year that never came to fruition. We had Santana Garrett from NXT making an appearance, and Rhea Ripley showed up as many expected in the number 14th spot. We had Ric Flair coming out with Lacey Evans, who was dressed up in Ric Flair's robe, of course, from Raw. Charlotte Flair had already entered the match, and she was distracted. Other appearances, Tori Wilson showed up at number 17. Mickie James, who we're still not sure if she's still an active wrestler, if she's a legend, but she appeared in this. And a rare mistake by WWE, they missed Bayley's elimination. When Mickie James was coming out, Bayley got eliminated by Bianca, and the camera people missed it. And yeah, a rare screw up from WWE. And yeah, I agree with Dylan. Tori Wilson looked fantastic, just in tremendous shape. We had Nikki Cross coming out, who hasn't really been seen much. Alicia Fox, who hasn't been seen much. And then R-Truth ran down. We had our big comedy moment in this match where he ran down thinking it was the men's Royal Rumble, but Alicia yelled at him and said, "Wrong match." This led to the 24/7 contenders all running down and chasing after Truth. Truth ran into the ring, and Alicia ended up rolling up Truth to become the 24/7 champion during this women's Royal Rumble. I thought this was kind of dumb, personally. Not really needed for the match, but you know they have to have their comedy in these matches. I was just like, whatever. And I'm so sick of the 24/7 title. For those of you that are watching this for the first time, and there might be some because it's the Rumble, I am not a fan of the 24/7 title anymore. I liked it when it started, but it ran its course, and now it's just cringe every time I see it. But Truth was funny with the Elmer Fudd stuff. I will give him that. And we had Dakota Kai make her entrance. Oh, by the way, R-Truth rolled up Alicia after Alicia was eliminated. So R-Truth won back the championship. Carmella was number 24, and Carmella had Reginald. Reginald kept saving Carmella from being eliminated, so he was being put to good use. And then we had Tamina coming out at number 25, super kicking Reginald, which led to Carmella being dropped to the floor, and she was eliminated from the match. So that time it backfired due to Tamina getting a little bit of a Royal Rumble moment here. And then we had the Kofi Kingston moment, which I guess is quickly becoming the Naomi Royal Rumble moment, where we had Bianca, who was on the verge of being eliminated. Or actually, no, Naomi was on the verge of being eliminated by Bianca, but Naomi's feet did not touch the floor. They were both lifted above the floor, but she needed a way back in. So she literally used Bianca's hair, got herself back to the apron, and Bianca was almost on the verge of being out, and they both realized that they need to save each other or they're both going to tumble to the floor. So they actually worked together to get back into the ring. I thought that was a really cool spot. I thought that was very well done. And yeah, I'm loving the Naomi highlight reel, doing what Kofi Kingston has been doing for all these years. And unfortunately, we did not get Kofi in this match due to his jaw injury. I believe that's what it is. Back to the match here. Ember Moon from NXT showed up at 28, and then Nia Jax came in at 29. Now, Lana had entered this match at 26. And by the way, I completely blew over Alexa Bliss. So let's talk about that, because I've already seen comments in the chat room about the whole the whole Lana not Lana. I'm just trying to remember Alexa Bliss because she was basically an afterthought in this match. Like I felt going in that she was going to be possibly the winner of this match. She was one of my picks to win. I think she was my third pick. And what happened was she came in at 27 and everybody teamed up on her. Lights started to flicker, you know, when the Fiend shows up, and Alexa began to transform. However, before she could finish the transformation, Rhea Ripley dumped her over the top rope, and she was not even in for a full 2-minute interval. So yeah, I guess they needed to find a way out to get Alexa out of this match, and I guess it was creative, but yeah, a lot of people were disappointed that Alexa was basically an afterthought in this match. The Game is on 100 says WWE made Alexa look like a geek in this Royal Rumble. Yeah, I mean, she was regular Alexa Bliss, so I suppose it's not as bad as if she transformed and then still lost the match. I mean, they figured out a way to get Alexa out without making the transformed version of her character look weak. So I suppose I'm okay with it, but maybe they should have just not had her in the match, or maybe had her win the title the other week. I'm not sure. We had Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler working together, and Nia Jax double-crossed her old friend Tamina. Tamina got eliminated, but then Nia double-crossed Shayna as well, eliminated Shayna, and then Nia turned her attentions to her old rival, Lana, chased after Lana, but then Lana managed to duck down and hold the rope down, which caused Nia to go over the top rope, eliminated from the match. Lana finally got her revenge on Nia Jax. So I'm glad that storyline got wrapped up and Lana got her happy ending, got to eliminate Nia Jax. But of course, Lana was never going to win this match. She got eliminated pretty quickly after this. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, are we getting Bliss versus Cross at WrestleMania? Probably not. I'm not sure we're going to be seeing much of Nikki Cross. She needs to go back to her old music. That new music is awful, by the way. So after Nia Jax was eliminated, her and Shayna, they were cool again. I mean, they are the tag team champions. They beat up everybody. Natalya was number 30. She got jumped by Nia and Shayna during her entrance. And the final four, Natalya, Bianca, Charlotte, and Rhea Ripley. Bianca eliminated Natalya. No surprise there. And we had Bianca and Rhea working together to eliminate Charlotte, which I'm sure got a big pop from people around the world. If this show had fans in the arena, this probably would have gotten a huge reaction when they dumped out Charlotte. And we did get This Is Awesome chants, which were piped in, of course, but I buy it for this. Like this was the right time to use the chants. It was down to Bianca and Rhea Ripley as the final two. And Mr. Dark Fantasy with a $2 super chat, jumping ahead a little bit here, says Carlito spitting equals Ultimate Heel in 2021. I see what you did there with that joke in 2021. And make sure you guys check out Rob Klein, Robbie Vice. I just shared his message. Follow him at the Robbie Vice, part of the No DQ review team. He's been giving away some t-shirts tonight because his people did not win. We had Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair going back and forth, and this was awesome. I thought this ending sequence was really well done by the ladies. Very intense and dramatic. They went back and forth trying to eliminate each other, but in the end, we had Bianca Belair clothesline Rhea Ripley over the top rope, picking up the win. Bianca was my number one pick, and Rhea was my number 2 pick. So I was happy with these last two. I felt they were the right choices to be at the end. I might have, if it was my decision, I might have gone with Rhea Ripley just because I think she needed the win more than Bianca. As great as Bianca is doing, I think Rhea Ripley needed the big win, but she had a very strong showing as well. And Bianca versus Sasha Banks, which I presume will be the WrestleMania match, that's going to be a hell of a match. So congrats to Bianca. And her post-match was really well done too. She was interviewed and she was, very emotional. And I thought it was great. She showed some real character here and felt like somebody you could easily get behind. I think Sasha has to go heel now because Bianca came off so likable here at the end. And I guess you could do face versus face, but we saw that with AJ Styles and Nakamura at WrestleMania and didn't go over so well. And Sasha did turn face not too long ago, but yeah, I think Sasha needs to go heel here. She does such a better job as heel. And now that the Bayley feud is over, I really do think that we need heel Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania. But yeah, Royal Rumble match for the ladies, really good match here. And the ending, the final moments with those two, really well done. So big thumbs up to the women's Royal Rumble. Everybody looked really good. Even Tori Wilson. I saw somebody in the chat criticizing her. Even Tori, she didn't do much, but what she did looked perfectly fine. Everybody looked good in the match. The only negative for me was the R-Truth stuff, which I just thought was totally unnecessary. But I guess you got to get R-Truth on the show and get your comedy on the show, of course. So yeah, great Rumble. And now we move on to the last man standing match. Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. We had this match start off right with a fight. Oh, before I get to that, let me talk about what happened beforehand because there was something I guess we need to talk about. Speaking of R-Truth, I just can't shake R-Truth here. They did a little recap discussion panel with the kickoff people, basically just as a way to cool everything down between the Rumble match and the Universal title match. And during this segment, R-Truth was back out there again. Peter Rosenberg, who was on the panel, tricked R-Truth, told him John Cena was there. R-Truth turned around looking for John Cena, but couldn't see him. He was there, though. It's John Cena, right? And Peter Rosenberg rolled up R-Truth and became the new 24/7 champion. And I believe he ended the show as 24/7 champion. So I was like, really? Peter Rosenberg? I mean, I don't care about the championship, but like, it's like it was already buried 6 feet under, and then you just got to piss on the grave of the 24/7 championship. I just laugh at it. It's so ridiculous. Got a $5 super chat from Peter. Says, did y'all see Becky's Twitter? LOL, who thought she was coming back? I fell for it. I did see that she posted something with like an entranceway, something like that. So yeah, a little bit of a teaser. And I think we'll see Becky back at some point. I think it's just a matter of time that we see her back. I think the Royal Rumble was maybe pushing it a bit too soon, but I would not be shocked if we see her come back for WrestleMania or maybe shortly after WrestleMania. This guy experienced with a $2 super chat, thank you for that, says, I was terrified that Charlotte would win, thank God. Yeah, like I said, I think Charlotte getting eliminated in front of an actual crowd, that would have gotten a massive pop. So anyways, let's talk about Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, last man standing. So as I mentioned, the fight started right from the get-go. They just started brawling. Reigns hit a Superman punch. Owens countered with a pop-up powerbomb. They quickly went to the outside of the ring, and they went back to where they fought several weeks ago, up in the stands, the area where all the Thunderboard LEDs are. and Owens used a chair trying to take out Reigns' legs, using the chair on his legs, but Reigns came back with that. Reigns hit a Superman punch and then threw Owens off the stage, just like he did a few weeks ago. Off the stage, Owens went through the tables below. So a recreation of that, which took Owens or put Owens out of action for a little bit. However, this time Owens managed to get up by the count of 10, and he was stumbling around. Owens walked to the backstage area, which is basically the rest of Tropicana field. It's just a massive venue. Like, it's crazy how big the venue is compared to the little Thunderdome setup that they have. And the Thunderdome setup looks pretty decent sized on TV, but then when they go to the main stadium part, it makes you realize how small that Thunderdome set really is. So they were fighting in this other part of the stadium. We're not fighting just yet because Owens was stumbling around, and then we had the golf cart. Roman Reigns with a speeding golf cart hit Kevin Owens. Attempted vehicular manslaughter. Or is it really considered that with a golf cart? I'm not sure. Maybe it has to be a certain speed limit for it to be considered attempted vehicular manslaughter. I'm curious to know if anybody knows the stat on that. Like, if you use any kind of vehicle, can it be considered vehicular manslaughter? I'm not even sure. But a lot of people, of course, were comparing this to the Stadium Stampede in AEW with Matt Hardy and Kenny Omega using the golf cart on Sammy Guevara. But this was more brutal. And the glass actually broke when Kevin Owens knocked through it. It shocked me. Like, the way they shot it, I did not see it coming. Like, as soon as it hit, I was like, what the hell just happened here? Like, they caught me completely off guard with that. So I think they did it better than AEW. Yes, AEW was first, but I thought this was a better spot personally. The thing with Sammy Guevara was comedy. And this was meant to be taken more seriously in a serious match. And I really enjoyed this one. I mean, they're both very entertaining, but they were different. And yes, WWE technically copied AEW. But yeah, it was just funny to see all the comments on Twitter about WWE copying AEW. The This Guy Experience sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Roman did it for The Rock. I died laughing. I just enjoyed the segment and or the sequence. And Owens managed to come back from that. He powerbombed Reigns on this table and then did a frog splash off a platform onto Reigns through a table. He climbed up this platform and did this big splash through the table. However, Reigns did beat the count. And then Owens laid Reigns out on another table, and he turned on this forklift, raised the forklift. He climbed the forklift, and then Owens, channeling Jeff Hardy, did a swanton bomb all the way down onto Reigns. Crazy spot here. However, Reigns was still able to beat the count. Shanti with a $5 super chat says, Reigns took a page from Rikishi. He did it for the family. Did the announcer say anything like that? If not, that was a missed opportunity. Somebody could have just said Reigns did it for the bloodline. I'm not sure if anybody said something like that. If they did, I missed it. But if they did say it, that would have been hilarious. And yeah, I agree with Josh. Owens proved himself as a main event star here. I mean, this match was awesome. And I do disagree with Marcus. I thought this match was great. He says it kind of sucked. But the ending was the one that was kind of a letdown. And we'll talk about that here in just a second. And Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, but did Roman Reigns do it for the people? Good question there. Probably not. He did it for himself, damn it, because that's how the tribal chief does things. He focuses on his family, and that's the bottom line. because Roman Reigns said so. Anyways, back to the match. After all that craziness, they fought back into the Thunderdome. Reigns ended up spearing Owens through the side staging area with the LED boards. Owens managed to somehow roll to his feet and then came back and hit a stunner to Reigns on the concrete. And then Owens had an idea. Owens's idea, he went and grabbed a pair of handcuffs. He grabbed these handcuffs and he handcuffed Reigns to the bottom of the scaffold. And before I get to that, I did miss a couple of super chats, so let me read these. One from Adrian, a €5 super chat. Thank you, Adrian. Says, excellent matchup until the botch kind of ruined the finish for me. And he's talking about this match. Like I said, the finish was a bit of a letdown. I'm going to get to that here in just a second. And TJS with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it. He's going off topic here, which I don't appreciate, Tyler. Shame on you. He says, would you rather have a Royal Rumble with tons of surprises or one with a field where literally anyone could win, but not many surprises like 1992? I would like a balance. I would like the Rumble to include people that have a legitimate shot of winning and some surprises. I like the combination of both. And I don't think it's good to go in any extreme direction. You want to have a balance. You want to have a balance of both as far as I'm concerned. And Justin Brosnan sent in a €5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I was waiting all night for a Big Show return and a heel turn. He could have interfered in the Reigns match. I was let down too. Spoiler alert, no Big Show in the Royal Rumble. How could you not have the Big Show in the Royal Rumble? And have him turn against all the faces and then turn against the heels and just go back and forth for a couple of minutes. Yeah, they missed out. All right, so back to the match. The finish of the match. Owens handcuffed Reigns to the bottom of the scaffold so Reigns could not get to his feet. Great idea here. And I actually thought for a second we were going to have a title change. The referee was counting. And when it got to 9, I'm like, we're going to have a title change. But then Reigns grabbed the referee and swung him into the other part of the scaffold, knocking the referee out. And all of a sudden, we had Paul Heyman show up with handcuffs to try and free Reigns. Another referee showed up and started counting, which would have been fine and dandy. Except there was a problem. Heyman could not uncuff Roman Reigns. Referee was up to 5. Heyman was struggling. So the referee actually stopped counting at 6. And the camera zoomed in away from the referee and then zoomed to shots of the crowd as Heyman continued to struggle to get Reigns out. Eventually, Reigns did get uncuffed by Heyman, but yeah, this felt like forever. And I was so embarrassed for the company. I was like, oh man, this match was so good. And now the finish is just taken all the air out of this match. I just felt so terrible about this. I felt legitimately bad for everybody involved in this. What a shame this was. And Bry King sends in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Bry. He says, the referee's botch count ruined that great match, and The Miz looked stupid to not cash in after. And yeah, in addition to that, you know, Adrian mentioned the botch, and you did, Bry. The other thing was, where was Owens? Like, Owens could have stopped Heyman from uncuffing. He had all this time. It's just like everybody had to stop what they were doing. Time stood still as Heyman was trying to uncuff Reigns. It was just so awkward to watch. And eventually Reigns, they went right to the end of the match where Reigns got on the guillotine and Kevin Owens passed out and then could not make the 10 count. So yeah, match was great. The unfortunate incident with the handcuffs, I'm sure it will be on a future edition of Botchamania. Yeah, that's one that people will remember. Paul Heyman versus handcuffs. The handcuffs won. I mean, remember when Mandy Rose was struggling to set up a table at SummerSlam? Like, this was 10 times worse because this was a Universal Championship match. Like, this was one of those moments like you wish it was a taped match so they could have edited this out. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, why they didn't just use gimmicked handcuffs to prevent something like this from happening. So Reigns could have just, actually with his strength pulled out of it. But yeah, didn't happen. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Hamp. Says, sorry I haven't been on lately. I'm back working in Texas 6 days a week. Not a problem, Hamp. I appreciate you swinging by and watching this live stream. Thank you for that. Overall, though, match was great. And Kevin Owens did fantastic and looked like a top-tier superstar, even in defeat. So, well done by these guys, other than what happened at the end of this. And now we move on to our main event of the evening, the men's Royal Rumble match. Let's talk about it. Everybody's hyped up to talk about it. You guys have been waiting for my thoughts on this. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, was this pay-per-view actually live or taped? Oh, it was live, all right. If it was taped, we would not have seen that handcuff fiasco. I can assure you that. So we had our main event match, the men's Royal Rumble. Prior to the match, we had Kofi Kingston backstage reuniting with his New Day brothers. And what was cool about this was, even though Kofi could not be cleared to wrestle, all New Day members were wearing outfits in tribute to Brody Lee / Luke Harper. I thought that was really nice, really cool touch for them to be wearing the Brody Lee tribute outfits with his likeness on their tights. Really, really cool stuff here. And Josh Mansfield sent in a $2 super chat, says, little something for the no DQ Queen Caitlyn. Well, I'm sure she will appreciate that, Josh. And by the way, for anybody watching this on Twitter, Periscope, or Twitch, make sure you subscribe to the No DQ channel at youtube.com/AaronRift NoDQ and turn on your notifications so you get updates whenever they become available. I thank you guys very much for tuning in. And with that being said, let's get to this recap. And also, spread the word about this video. If you know a friend who watches wrestling who might enjoy this, send them a link so they can check it out. All right, so time for the main event match, the men's Royal Rumble. It was supposed to be Randy Orton in the #1 spot and Edge in the #2 spot, but looks like Edge stole Randy Orton's spot. He took the #1 spot from Randy Orton, and when Randy Orton made his entrance at #2, Edge ran right after him, didn't even let Orton get to the ring, and a huge fight broke out. We had Sami Zayn at #3, and then Ali at #4. And a comment here from Kane, California. I hope you hit the affiliate on Twitch so we can sub with Prime and or donate bits. Yes, so also please subscribe to the No DQ Twitch account, twitch.com or twitch.tv/NoDQDOTCOM, so we can get the subscribers up over there. And I got a lot of videos streaming No DQ CAW and recaps, so check that out, and some more video game content coming soon. We had the heels working over Edge for a while. Ali was #4, so it was 3-on-1 versus Edge. But then we had We had Jeff Hardy come out at number 4 to even the odds. And Hardy, just for trivia purposes, was the first person eliminated via Ziggler. Now, on the outside of the ring, Edge beat the crap out of Orton, did the execution onto the table, and then just continually took out Orton with a steel chair to the point where the officials were checking on Orton, and Orton was actually taken out of the match. Orton was removed from the match, and I think we were all thinking the same thing, like, that means he's coming back out at the end. He's going to be recovered, and he's going to do something at the very end of the match, possibly win it. You know, we were all thinking this. So, yeah, I wasn't buying that he was out of the match completely. I figured he would be back. So, anyways, the number 8 entrant was pretty cool. Carlito was back. And Carlito learned from the Drew McIntyre school of comebacks. What did Drew McIntyre do? He left, he came back, and had a better physique. And that's what Carlito had. Carlito was jacked. He looked to be in the best shape of his career, better than any period in his WWE career. He looked great. He was ripped. He came out and he got right into the mix with everybody. He had a backstabber on Nakamura, and I hope we see more Carlito. I want to see more Carlito. He looked so good here. You know, he fit in with everybody, and he looked great. He's got the new body. I thought this was awesome to see Carlito again, and he came back like a guy looking for a comeback. So I'm hoping he gets it. I'm hoping we'll see more of Carlito in the future. Apparently, he is going to be on Raw, and same thing as MVP, maybe try out for a producer role. But I'm hopeful, like MVP, they'll keep him around and actually make him a TV character, and we see a resurgence in Carlito, just like what we saw with MVP in 2020. And yeah, I popped pretty hard for Carlito, and I was like, damn, this guy is in phenomenal shape. We had some more entrants here. Nothing too noteworthy. Elias was number 13 and eliminated Carlito. So that was a good way to get some heat. If we had actual fans here, they would have booed this heavily. Elias would have gotten some really good heat for this. Damian Priest was number 14 from NXT. We pretty much expected him to show up. I was not too surprised. Curtis Butler sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Curtis. He says, Rift is Flair and I'm Arn Anderson. I am the enforcer. I'll tell you what. I'll let you have that, Curtis Butler. You can be the designated enforcer of this chat room tonight. How about that? And Psycho Jet Black with the $2 super chat says, what other ruthless aggression stars can return? That's a great question. I cannot think of too many off the top of my head. Maybe Chris Masters? Like, they never really did anything with him, but if he could go and they could give him a storyline, I would be cool with seeing him again. I'm sure that there's a couple others that I just cannot think of right now because I got to focus on the Rumble recap. And I also forgot to mention Ricochet. So Ricochet lost his qualifying match, yet was still able to appear. Go figure, right? I mean, that's why the whole declaration and qualifying storylines that they come up with, it's just pointless. It really serves no purpose because why is Ricochet in this match when he lost his chance? He was in it anyway, so why should we even care about the match in the first place if it means nothing in the end? We had some more entrants. Matt Riddle at 16, Bryan at 17, and then Kane at number 18. And Kane, I believe they said his 18th Rumble appearance. So he was 18 for his 18th appearance. Kane really didn't do much as far as like taking bumps or anything. He basically just stood there and guys ran into him and he choke slammed a few people. We had a cool moment where Daniel Bryan wanted a hug from Kane to reunite Team Hell No. That was cool. And they hugged, but then Kane, of course, double-crossed him, choke slammed him. And then Damian Priest fought with Kane a little bit and then eliminated Kane. Some nice little rub there for Damian Priest to eliminate Kane. We had The Miz coming out, and he destroyed Bad Bunny's DJ equipment, which for some reason was still there. I'm not sure why they did not pack that up when he was done. They just left it there. Miz destroyed it. And then we had Bad Bunny actually come down to ringside, pissed off. Miz and Morrison were distracted by this, and Priest eliminated both Miz and Morrison. People are talking about in the chat room possible names from the past that could show up. Maybe Gene Snitsky. Ken Shamrock was Attitude Era. And then there was a comment about, who was the other comment? I missed the other one. Oh, Ken Kennedy. Yeah, he would have been okay. I would really like to see Ken Kennedy since he was doing stuff in NWA Power before the pandemic. So, yeah, Bad Bunny, he led to the elimination of Miz and Morrison, and then Bunny climbed the top rope and did a crossbody onto Miz and Morrison off the top to the outside. And I got to say, not into Bad Bunny, but way better jump than what Snoop Dogg did on AEW Dynamite. I will say that. So good for him. His one spot, he looked a lot better than Snoop Dogg did. Snoop Dogg looked like he was terrified of getting high. And for Snoop Dogg to be terrified of getting high, something is terribly, terribly wrong. People are mentioning Kevin Thorne and Orlando Jordan, Mike Knox. Gangrel for the entrance would be cool. So, yeah, those are some names you could potentially see in a future Royal Rumble, maybe. I'm still waiting for Shamrock. I don't know if we'll ever get it. I've been waiting for him for 20 years. Back to the match here. We had Lashley coming in at number 22. He eliminated both Dominic and Damian Priest. And then number 23, Hurricane Helms. Helms showed up. He recreated his spot from 2002 where he tried to chokeslam Steve Austin and Triple H, but they did not budge. He tried doing this with Lashley and Big E, had no effect, and they quickly eliminated Hurricane. We then had maybe the biggest surprise of the entire show. Christian, that's right, Christian J. Resno coming out at number 24. I popped huge for this. Like, I was like, holy shit, because we always thought like he was done, like he was never going to come back to wrestling. We thought he was one of those guys that would not be medically cleared. And, you know, this past summer when he did the angle with Randy Orton, like if there was going to be a moment where he wrestled, that would have been it. And when that did not happen, I think we all felt like, okay, that means he's really not ever going to come back. So for him to come back here was awesome. I just feel bad because, you know, he's always been kind of in the shadow of Edge. And Edge got the big moment last year with the crowd. Christian comes back and we have no real crowd. I think the roof would have blown off if Christian came out with a full crowd. I just feel bad for him. But, you know, it was cool to see him back. He looked great. He looked like, you know, he never retired. He got right back in there, and it felt like 2012 and 2013 when he was last wrestling. He got right back into the thick of things. And we had a really cool moment where Edge and Christian hugged. That was an awesome Royal Rumble moment. You know, that'll be on the highlight reel of great Rumble moments to see them hug and have their big reunion. We had AJ Styles coming out, and Omos was a factor in this match. He He saved AJ Styles on several occasions, and he also pulled Big E out of the match. He pulled him over the top rope, and apparently for this year, you know, they change the rules every year to whatever they want. In previous years, somebody who's not part of the match can eliminate somebody. But this year, apparently, if you are not in the match, you can eliminate anybody. And if that's the case, why not just bring anybody to the ring on your behalf and eliminate people? So that was kind of dumb, in my opinion. Looks like I missed a super chat. So let me see if I can locate that here real quick. If I can't, I do apologize. Okay. I skipped it because it wasn't quite on topic here. Well, now it is. A scene with a $2 super chat says, why no Keith Lee and what's next for Seth Rollins? Well, I'll get to that right now. Keith Lee, nobody knows what's up with him. There's the obvious reason. I'm not going to speculate on it. Mia Yim, reckoning she has COVID-19. Her and Keith Lee are in a relationship. It could just be out of precaution, keeping him away, but I don't know. So until there's a report from Keith Lee, it's speculation. I'm not going to speculate on it. And as far as Seth Rollins goes, he came out at number 29. And back to the Messiah, no return to the burn it down Seth Rollins. I was a little disappointed with that. You know, I'm tired of the Messiah thing. But if he wasn't going to be winning the Rumble match, I guess he didn't absolutely need him to be back as the old Seth Rollins. I just don't know where Rollins goes, and Reigns needs a good opponent. Rollins would be that guy. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, seeing Daniel Bryan wrestle again made me happy for him. Absolutely. And Bryan and Riddle were having a great sequence towards the end of this. Like, they were going back and forth. I want to see Matt Riddle versus Daniel Bryan. Like, that was awesome, the two of them going at it. I'd love to see a match between those guys. Jorge sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Cole, though, did keep mentioning no disqualification through those eliminations. Yeah, well, they changed the rules all the time. Like, there was a period when you could not be illegally eliminated. Like, you could not be eliminated from somebody who was not in the match. Remember the 97 Rumble when Steve Austin illegally eliminated all those people? So, yeah, they changed the rules, and I prefer it the way where once you're out of the match or you're not in the match, you cannot impact the result of the match. Just my opinion, though. I think that's how it should be. So anyways, back to the match. Rollins, once again, as the Messiah, was number 29. Strowman was number 30. And Omos saved Styles again, but Strowman just figured out, you know what? Don't throw Styles towards Omos. He took AJ and threw him to the other side of the ring and eliminated him. And Rollins was being sneaky on the outside of the ring. Rollins got into the ring, hit a curb stomp on Bryan, and eliminated Bryan. That would have gotten a lot of heat if we were having a Royal Rumble with an actual crowd. Rollins would have got some major heat for that. I'm very certain of that. And then Rollins eliminated Riddle, doing the curb stomp on the apron, and Riddle went out. Final four, Edge, Christian, who was still in it, Strowman, and Rollins. Rollins wanted to team up with Strowman, and Strowman was having none of it. There was this sequence where everybody was trying to eliminate each other, and then Strowman and Christian ended up getting dumped over the top rope at the same time, leading it to Edge and Rollins as the final two. Edge eliminated Rollins, but then, surprise, surprise, Randy Orton showed up with an RKO to Edge and then was on the verge of tossing Edge out. He was running over to throw Edge out, and I got to give them credit. I was scared here. I was like thinking for a second, oh no, Orton's going to win this. But then last split second, Edge turned it around and threw Orton over the top to win the men's 2021 Royal Rumble match. I thought this finish was awesome. As predictable as Orton showing up was, they got me because I was scared there for a second that we were going to get some screwy finish, and then Edge turned it around last second. I thought that was beautiful. Very well done. Edge just was laying there in the ring, just overcome with emotion. This was so great. I know people are like, oh, another part-timer wins, but if you're going to utilize Edge, you got to tell this story where he's chasing for one more championship. And, Edge versus Reigns or Edge versus McIntyre, count me in. I would love to see either of those matches at WrestleMania. And WWE can go with either one. I'm not sure which one they're going with, but I would be down to see either match. The Game is on 100 sent in a $2 super chat, says, I was right that Edge had to win the Royal Rumble. I figured when they announced him, because he came in 2020 and he didn't win, right? So he's coming in 2021. Can he really lose again? That was my thought process. And then when they announced him starting the match, I was like, oh, crap, why did I pick Edge? But he made it all the way through. He looked great. And I'm really stoked for what they're going to do next with him. I'm very curious to see who he faces. I think either match would be awesome. Jason EXP with a $2 super chat says, Daniel Bryan ending his career without a Royal Rumble win sucks. He could still win it. He's not done yet. He's winding down, but never say never as far as a Royal Rumble win goes. Maybe next year. There's always next year. Maybe he needs to become a part-timer to win a Royal Rumble, if you know what I'm saying. And there's a $2 super chat here from Alex A. Says, no Rock versus Reigns. Is The Rock ever returning? He'll be back, but I think because of the situation with the pandemic, WrestleMania no longer being in Hollywood/Inglewood this year, they're going to postpone it. Unfortunately, I feel like this year would have been the right time for Rock versus Reigns, but the pandemic screwed everything up, unfortunately. Life happens. But yeah, I think The Rock will be back someday, and we'll probably get Rock versus Reigns. Not sure what Reigns' character will be like then, but I think we will get that match at some point, probably in 2 years at WrestleMania. I do think we will see it, and I think we will see The Rock return someday. Might not be for another 2 years. Maybe next year. And yeah, there's some criticism about Edge winning, but I thought Edge looked great. He was in great shape, and he stood the test of time. He won from the number one spot. Shawn Michaels did it, censored. Well, Chris Benoit did it, and Edge has done it. So huge accomplishment for Edge. He did not get injured, which was something I was afraid of with him being in there for 60 minutes. And yeah, I got all the predictions right, which, hey, I'm off to a great start with the Predictions League. I'm happy about that. Overall, I thought the show was really solid. I thought it was a great show, actually. I feel bad about the Roman Reigns botch at the end of that match, but yeah, this Rumble, I felt delivered big time. Asim with a $2 super chat says, will anybody break Stone Cold's record of 3 wins? John Cena, maybe? I think there's a few possibilities. I think somebody probably will at some point. I don't think Steve Austin will have that record forever. And Psycho Jet Black with a $5 super chat says, seriously, if it weren't for the Hell in the Cell fiasco in 2018, would Rollins have stayed babyface, or was a heel turn inevitable? I think it was probably inevitable. You gotta you got to change things up after a while. He had a pretty good babyface run, but yeah, I think that heel turn fiasco might have sped things up a little bit. And by the way, wasn't it 2019, that Hell in a Cell fiasco? Pretty sure it was. Yeah, I think that probably sped it up, but yeah, Rollins, I think he was already, people were already starting to get tired of him as a babyface by that point. I mean, people were resenting him before that. And then, he kind of just ran his course as champion. And I think he needed a character change. But now I think he's got to go back, and he's got to be the architect again and go after Roman Reigns, and have the roles reversed. And Alex A with a $2 super chat says, do you still miss the Attitude Era, or are you over it? I miss it. Of course I miss it. I miss the Monday Night Wars. I miss the creativity in wrestling. It's more about the formula now and just sticking with what works. But, I do miss aspects of it. The Attitude Era was not perfect, and certainly a lot of issues with it that would not fly today. And looking back, I'm like, how did they even get away with half of that crap that they did? The reason they got away with it was because you had Steve Austin and The Rock, and they were so popular, WWE could pretty much get away with anything. Josh Mansfield with a $2 super chat. Thank you, Josh. Says, Bryan versus Reigns at Chamber. Cena steps up at WrestleMania. Hey, that very well could happen. Would not shock me if John Cena was part of WrestleMania this year. I mean, I think he will be there. It's just a matter of will he wrestle or not? That's the question. And as far as what title do I think Edge will go for from Mr. Mustang? Don't know. I could see it going either way. Maybe Reigns, but maybe it's going to be John Cena versus Reigns. Who knows? And maybe WWE is still undecided about it. Apparently, they have Reigns' opponent picked out, but we'll see what happens. I could definitely see it go either way, and either one would be fine with me. And Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says, because Canadian restrictions, Lesnar won't return. He could get to the U.S. if he wanted to. Remember, Bobby Roode came back. I think Lesnar will be back if there's a good reason for him to come back and WWE wants him in a marquee match. But if you're not going to put him in the main event, then why use him? If WWE has other plans for Reigns and other plans for McIntyre, then I don't think they're going to bring him back to fight Bobby Lashley, even though I would be all for that. I would love to see that. Doesn't have to be the main event, but I sense they're not going to do it during a pandemic. Peter Legato with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, when do you see Brock Lesnar coming back at WrestleMania? Again, it depends on what WWE has available for him and what they want to do. I think they should bring him back to fight Bobby Lashley, but they might not feel it's financially worth it during a pandemic when they cannot do a full capacity WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens. I do think he'll be back at some point. I doubt we've seen the last of Brock Lesnar. Adrian with a €2 super chat says, I'm challenging Drew McIntyre for the title at WrestleMania. I think that's something that cannot be done because you can only declare for the Royal Rumble. You should have declared for the Rumble, Adrian, although maybe you did. But after the Rumble, you cannot declare yourself for championship matches. At least unless you're like Roman Reigns tier. Jason EXP with a $2 super chat says, AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania? I'd be okay with that. But I kind of want to see Bryan versus Riddle after their exchange during the match. I thought that was fantastic. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, do you remember Stone Cold challenging or calling Christian a creepy little bastard? Yes, I do. I remember Steve Austin making fun of Christian. I remember him calling Lance Storm boring and that pretty much killing Lance's career. I seem to remember that that was actually Vince's thing to make fun of Christian because he didn't like how Christian looked, thought he was a creepy little bastard. So they wrote it into the line for Austin to use. But I'm not positive on that. I just remember that was the story at the time. Adrian says in WWE, you can declare and book your own matches. Yeah, pretty much. Anyways, guys, letter grade for the show, I gave it a solid A. And I think if we had an actual crowd and that Reigns match was not botched at the end, I might have gone A+ for this show. Awesome pay-per-view. One of the best Royal Rumbles of all time, in my opinion. I mean, they've been on a roll. These last several Royal Rumbles have been really good shows. And, they rebounded. Remember that bad streak of Rumbles? 2014, 2015. 2017 was not my favorite one. 2016 was okay. But, yeah, these last several ones, 2018 to now, I think have been top-tier Royal Rumbles. I mean, they've all been really, really great shows. Seeing a lot of A's in the chat room. And Adrian says B+ would have been an A if not for the botch. But yeah, overall looks like people really enjoyed the pay-per-view. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, subscribe, youtube.com/AaronRift, and turn on notifications. Tell a friend, twitch.tv/NoDQ, DOTCOM. And that's all I got for tonight. I will be back. I recap Raw, Dynamite, SmackDown. We got the No DQ review. Lots of content every week. I hope you guys that are new, just tuning in, will stick around and check out some more of the content. Take care, everybody, and have a great night. Be positive and stay safe. Good night.